Did you hear about the two Irishmen? And they see this sign outside the filling station. It says, free sex every time you fill up. So they fill up and go into the office, and the bloke said, right, pick a number from 1 to 10. He said 7. He said, I'm sorry. He said, you're unlucky. He said, the lucky number today is 8. So this carries on for a week or two, and every time they fill up, they never win. So one of the Irishmen said to the other one, he said, I think this is a diddle. He said, I don't think this is a real competition at all. He said, oh, it is. He said, my wife won 3 times last month. Did you hear about the pregnant Irish woman? She was expecting twins, and her husband was away working on the oil rigs. And she went into labour, so her brother went to the hospital with her. Anyway, when she came round, the nurse came in, and she said, your brother's named the twins for you, a boy and a girl. She said, oh, Jesus. She said, he's an idiot. She said, what's he named them? He says, well, the girl is called Denise. She said, oh, that's not too bad, I suppose. She said, what about the boy? He said, the nephew. Did you hear about the party of Irish people went on a coach tour, a mystery tour? So they thought they'd have a sweepstake to see who could guess where they were going. The driver won £52. Did you hear about the traffic warden's funeral? They were just lowering his coffin into the ground, and there's a knocking noise from inside. He said, let me out, I'm not dead. So the vicar leaned over the grave. He said, I'm sorry, son. He said, we've already done the paperwork. I went to the Yorkshire show this year with a wife, and they were doing these helicopter trips. £50 these helicopter trips were, and there's this old Yorkshire couple, Bert and Blanche, and he said, he said, I'd love to have a go on that helicopter. And Blanche says to him, yeah, but it's £50, Bert, £50. So this goes on for a year or two. And anyway, they go back this particular year. He said, look, I'm 80 years old this year. He said, if I don't have a go on this helicopter soon, he said, I'll never get on it. Anyway, the helicopter pilot hears them. So he said, look, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll take you up for a trip. He said, and if you don't say anything, if you're silent, he said, you can have the trip for nothing. He said, but if either of you say anything, I'll have to charge you £50. So he takes them up. He does all these aerobatics trying to make them say something. He gets them down on the ground and not said a dicky bird. So he turns to Bert, he said, well, I've got to hand it to you. He said, I did everything I could to make you say something. He said, but you kept silent all the way around. So Bert said, yeah. He said, I nearly said something when Blanche fell out the helicopter. He said, he said £50, £50. There was this farmer there, and he was showing his prize bowls, and so we're going along, and the wife's looking at these pens, and she said, oh, look at this. She said, this one's mated 50 times last year. She said, that's nearly once a week. And she said, look at this one. This one's mated 150 times last year. She said, that's nearly 3 times a week. And she said, this one's mated 350 times. That's nearly once a day. She said, you could take a leaf out of these bowls. I said, have a word with the farmer and ask him if it's always with the same old cow. Am I bothered? I was in the pub in Weatherby the other night, and this chap was talking to me. He said, my wife's an angel. I said, you're lucky, mine's still with me. He said, I didn't make love to my wife before we were married, did you? I said, I don't know, what was her name? So, anyway, I came home and I said to the wife, I said, I've just been talking to a bloke down the pub. He said, he reckons the milkman's made love to every woman in this street bar one. She said, it'd be that stuck-up cow at number 38. She said, come on, let's go upstairs and make love. I said, I can do one or the other, make your mind up. I said, how about trying how to do position tonight? She said, yeah, all right. She said, you come and do the ironing and I'll sit on my arse all night watching television. I said to her, you want to try and rub some of that toilet tissue on your breasts? She said, why would I want to do that? I said, well, it's worked wonders for your arms. Anyway, the next morning I woke up, there's all this talcum powder in my underpants. I said to her, what's all this talcum powder in my underpants? She said, it's not talcum powder, it's Miracle Grow. The neighbour had a word with me the other day. He said, look, he said, for goodness sake, he said, if you're going to make love to your wife in the afternoon, he said, will you pull the curtains? He said, because you were the talk of the neighbourhood yesterday. I said, the joke's on you. I said, I wasn't even home yesterday afternoon.
I've heard them all before.
When the Olympics were on this year, they brought out these new Olympic condoms. Did you see them? Gold, silver and bronze. So I got a packet, so I went home that night. I said, I'm going to try these Olympic condoms. I said, I think I'll try gold. She said, why don't you try silver and try coming second for a change? Well, it's all right, but I think marriage is a bit like a deck of cards, isn't it? You start off with 2 hearts and a diamond, you end up wishing you got a club and a spade, don't you? It's a birthday coming up soon on the 21st of December. She said, take me somewhere I've not been lately. I said, how about the kitchen? She said, I hope you're going to book a table somewhere. I said, I don't know why I bother. I said, I booked a table last year. I said, you only potted 2 balls all night. I was reading a book the other day about Buddhism. And she said, oh, what's that? I said, is it interesting? I said, it is. I said, they believe in reincarnation. She said, what's that? I said, well, when you die, you come back as something completely different, an animal or this, that and the other. She says, oh, she said, when I come back, I said, I think I'm going to come back as a cow. I said, no, I said, you're obviously not listening to me. I know I'm going to pay for this one. The wife's just been out with a friend to a Christmas party, and they got caught short on the way home, and they had to go to the toilet in Weatherby Cemetery. And anyway, the next morning I was talking to my friend, and he said, I don't know what the girls were up to last night. He said, when my wife got home, he said she got no knickers on. I said, that's nothing. I said, my wife had a card stuck to her arse saying, from all the boys at the fire station, we'll never forget you. Right, that's your lot. If you've enjoyed it, I'm Mike Earl. If you haven't, I'm Jerry Beaver.